I think we only have two pieces of follow-up this week. We'll start with the much more important one. How is Princess doing?
Princess is doing well, thank you. I wasn't super happy with the care that she got at her vet's office through her whole ordeal. I felt like I never really had a good understanding of her actual condition. So I took her somewhere else for a second opinion, and I'm glad I did because I got a ton of new and totally different information than what I'd gotten before. The new vet decided to take a chest and heart x-ray so we could actually see what's happening. She does have congestive heart failure. Her heart it's not twice as big as it should be, but it's substantially larger than it should be.
Which is bad, I assume.
Heart failure tends to be a negative thing, yes.
I know, but I don't associate heart failure with heart size. I don't know the relationship between those.
Okay, yes. The heart growing in size so much is not a good thing. So part of that is that the heart has gotten bigger, and also there's a lot of fluid built up around the heart. This is putting pressure on her trachea, which is why when she drinks or eats, she coughs quite a bit after, because that's being restricted and tightened a little bit. That's really the only symptom of any kind of problem at all that she's showing right now. She's now on 2 medications for her heart, different from the ones the previous vet had given us. And the new vet put her back on an antibiotic because she is still showing signs of a bit of an infection at the site of the bite. But to answer your question, she is doing well. We have her with a new vet, which we are happy with.
So what did the new vet say about her previous care?
She was very professional. She was very careful not to say really anything. She did not initiate any conversation about the care that Princess had. Mom came with me to take Princess to the new vet. Mom asked very directly, did this heart incident while she was sedated happen directly because the vet did a bad job? And the doctor didn't say yes, but she said, if it were me, I would have chosen a different anesthetic. I think that's about all the information that we're going to get on that, because she's trying to be very professional, which I totally understand. And there is so much that is subjective within medicine to a certain extent. Like, there are so many different options of an anesthetic that you can choose, and the one that he originally chose is not the one that the new vet would have chose. It seems to me that this was a situation of just a choice of a bad anesthetic for a dog that has heart problems.
So I guess we are switching to that new vet.
We are switching to the new vet.
And listeners, I don't keep track of this stuff, so I am literally asking questions just for my knowledge here in the podcast. It's kind of a 2-for-1 session for me, so.
But she's doing well. She's in the office right now, sleeping on the floor next to us. And she's very cute. Well, she was sleeping on the floor. Where is she?
She's still there.
Oh, she was hiding behind your backpack.
Like we said before, she's very small, so very easy to misplace. There was one time, not long after we brought her to our house, that we couldn't find her. And we looked all over, like we had just been watching a movie or eating dinner or something like that.
It took me a second to remember what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so we looked all over, and like all the doors were closed. I said, she's got to be in this house somewhere. Like, I guarantee it. Let's see, was she in a basket?
Yeah. She had crawled into the basket that we keep our blankets in. And this is a very small basket for very small blankets. And the basket was in the corner of the room, tucked behind a chair and a bookshelf.
I completely forget that we even have that basket until I need a blanket. Like, I just don't even think of it because it's so out of the way.
Well, and our big comfy blankets we keep on the actual couch. So, I mean, we only get that if there's like a lot of other people over.
Yeah, our daily use blankets.
At that point, we did not yet have a dog bed for her or anything, and we have tile floors downstairs. So I guess she just walked around until she found something comfy that she could crawl into.
Something soft.
Yeah, it was very cute. And of course, she was asleep and had no idea that we were looking everywhere for her.
She wouldn't have cared no matter what. She's a stinker.
No.
She's ornery.
She's not ornery.
She is.
No.
She is.
No. How is she ornery?
Like, she knows when we're leaving, and she will do everything she can to get in the way. She would rather be crushed by the door than stay home without us.
Yeah. Yeah, she would. I guess I'll give you that one.
The only other piece of follow-up is about my camera lens. All in all, it'll be $249 plus the shipping that I had to pay to get it there. Which I think $250 is really a pretty good price overall. I could imagine it being $400 or $500.
No.
I'm sure there are some damages that would cost that much, but I'm happy with $250. I mean, I'm not happy with it. I'd prefer that I didn't have any damage at all, but it's very fixable, and I'll get it back, like I said, this week.
I think we need to get you a new hobby. If just a standard break is going to cost so much money.
I mean, the lens cost $900, so
Don't
remind you.
Don't tell me that.
Since my camera and lens have been out of commission, it has obviously thrown a big roadblock in my photography for the last couple of weeks. Which is fine. I mean, I always have tons of stuff to do, and I still have photos that I need to be posting that I've already taken, so it honestly isn't a big deal to take a few weeks off. However, our photography club still has their monthly challenge. The meeting is this Tuesday, so I needed to take some kind of photo to submit. I mean, you don't have to submit a photo every month, but I really like to. I mean, it's my favorite part of being in the club.
It's the one part of being in the club that I have yet to participate in.
Yes. So, Shelby has an iPhone XR, or XR, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And her camera is a lot better than mine because mine is coming up on 3 years old. So I borrowed Shelby's phone and just took a few photos. Really only one kind of turned out. The theme is summertime. I didn't really have a lot of good ideas. Sometimes I will immediately have just like an amazing idea, but that was not the case. So I just took a picture in someone's backyard of like their pool, and it has a nice reflection. I don't think it's that good of a picture. Shelby likes it okay.
I also like all the photos you take, so.
I often will post a poll on our Facebook page to either have people pick a photo. In this case, since I only had one photo that I liked, I actually edited it 2 different ways and had people vote on that, which it's fairly close, but there is a clear winner. I really like polls like that on Facebook. Shelby is a bit patronizing with me about these polls.
I am absolutely not.
I like the polls on Facebook.
That's
and
fine.
People seem to enjoy them as well. There's much more engagement on those than most of my other boring posts. I mean, everyone likes to vote on things.
I am not at all patronizing. you sent me a text about how you were going to make a poll, and then you followed it up by saying, I really love Facebook polls. And all I said is, yeah, we know. Because you
No,
do.
that's not how that text reads. I said, I really like Facebook polls. And then you just said, like, yeah, we know. That's how that read to me.
I said, we know you do, with an emoji with a tongue sticking out. Because you post 2 to 3 polls a month, if not more.
Yeah, that's not even one a week.
No, it's not. I agree. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you posting these polls on Facebook. But, like, you don't need to tell me that you like them. I know that you like them. It's fine for you to like them. I'm fine with you using them. I have no problems. I don't even think it's funny.
Yeah, see, you do. Yeah, see. The truth comes out. Anyways, I'll post those in the blog and I'll put a link to them in the show notes.
Now, this month, I actually did take pictures for the photography contest of the month. This is the first time that I've done that.
I've encouraged you to do that before, but Shelby is always way undervaluing her skills at anything. Like
No.
anything. You do. I mean, like you did pour painting for a while, and I liked a lot of them, even when you didn't like them. And like just every kind of hobby, like singing, you always think that you're a bad singer, even though you are objectively a good singer.
No.
And
I have
who are
more
also
bad
good singers,
performances than good performances.
people who are also singers tell you that you are a good singer.
Because people are nice. Well, those people are nice.
Anyways, you decided you were going to enter the summertime monthly challenge.
Yeah. Well, I saw that I had a couple good settings for summary pictures.
Not like camera settings, you mean like
No.
scenes
Yeah.
or ideas.
I had good opportunities.
Opportunities, there we go.
Oftentimes, whenever a theme is proposed, I almost always have ideas. I'm really good at ideas. I'm very, very, very bad at execution. So I might have an idea, but it's probably something that is somewhat unattainable, or I'm not going to be able to make it look the way I want it to look, in which case I would rather not do it at all.
That's the spirit. That's what all. Whenever you hear interviews with great people accomplishing great things, they always say, "Listen, if you can't get it perfect the first time, why even start?" I'm pretty sure Michael Phelps said that. He's like, "If you don't swim across the pool as fast as me on your first time, then just give up, just drown."
So it's a little bit of that with the fact that I have this idea that I have to take pictures with a camera, and
like a big camera, you mean?
Not a phone.
Right.
And also the idea that I have to know what I'm doing with that camera.
So you're saying the things that hold you back are that you think you have to use a big camera and that you think you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of it is a matter of technical skill. Like, I do not have a lot of technical ability, and that holds me back from submitting anything or really trying.
I just want to butt in here and defend myself preemptively and say that I have offered to lend my camera to Shelby many times, and I have offered to teach her, for instance, about the exposure triangle or other technical aspects and show her how the camera works and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want anyone to think that I am uh, holding back any of my resources in this regard.
You certainly are not holding them back. I have expressed that I would like to do that every time that I say, "Hey, why don't we go out and you can teach me how to use the camera on this day that we don't have other things going on?" You're like,
That is
not
completely
today.
untrue. This
That is not untrue. It is very true. I do not hold this as your responsibility.
that is completely untrue.
It's not.
There's a specific time. It was actually last time we were at the lake house. Not this time, but the time before then. I was there for at least a day or two, and I talked about that, and I said, yeah, let's just do that. And I said, whenever you're ready, just let me know. And then the whole day went by, and the whole next day went by.
Absolutely not.
And you never took me up on it.
Absolutely not. I said, "Hey, let's go down to the lake and you can show me how to use the camera." And you said, "I really don't want to right now."
This never happened.
And then
Fiction.
it was nighttime.
This is completely fiction. Oh, what? Yeah, you can't take photos at night?
Moving on. My lack of technical ability and knowledge keeps me from trying things out. That combined with the really strong vision that I have, and that I don't want to not reach the ideals that I
pinnacle.
have set in my mind.
So you're saying that because you have a strong vision, it makes accomplishing that vision unattainable.
Absolutely. This could be said for literally every aspect of my life.
Yikes.
Nobody would guess this, but I am a perfectionist. Now, nobody would guess it because nothing I do is like perfect. Partially because my perfectionism holds me back for so long because I dread doing the thing because I know it's going to be exhausting. And then once I do it, I spend 10 times as much grueling, painstaking time on it than is necessary because I get so hyper-focused on each little aspect of it. And then by the time I am quote-unquote finished with it,
You're also finished.
It's hot garbage, absolute trash. I'm terribly exhausted. And it's never worth it. So I usually just end up not. Just like generally not. I just don't. Whatever the thing is, I just don't. Also, I'm currently looking for a job. So if anyone, if this sounds like the attitude of someone you would like to hire, give me a call.
It sounds so exhausting to be you.
Listen, you don't even know.
I clearly don't. I absolutely don't. I will admit that. Oh boy.
Anyways, but I did take a picture. I'm actually out at a client's house who live out in Central Heights, and they have a beautiful pool and a nice backyard, and I got out there with my phone and I started taking some pictures. I set some things up. I tried to take pictures of what was already out there, and I didn't really like what I was getting. But then I found a bright pink beach ball. And
that wasn't a beach ball. It's like a plastic ball.
It's a ball that goes in the pool and you throw it around and you
but
toss it around.
But it's not inflatable though.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd have to look at the picture again. I'll put Shelby's photo on the website as well. Or actually, I won't do it. Shelby's going to do it. Shelby will put her own photo on the website. So you can check the show notes to see that. Or just go to Hadians.com and click on blog.
I didn't keep track of how many photos I took and how many I kept like you do.
I don't always do that. I forget half the time.
Should I post some of the other ones that I took with it?
You can post whatever you want. It's your blog post.
Yeah, I guess it is.
It really is amazing how good the cameras on smartphones are. Like, especially if you get like a premium one, like an iPhone or a Galaxy or a Pixel or things like that. The cameras are exceedingly good, especially if you use one of the third-party camera apps. Like Lightroom is the photo editing suite that we use, and Lightroom also has a photo app, and it's just wonderful. You can take extremely high quality photos. You are more limited in what you can take photos of. Like if you need a really big zoom, you can't really get that on a smartphone as easily. I mean, they even make zooms for smartphones, but they're not the same quality. So there are many times when you do need a big camera for certain kinds of photos. But certainly smartphones in the last 2 or 3 years have just come so far in their image quality that you can take, really good hobby photos and no one would ever know the difference. Whenever I was editing the photos that I took in Shelby's phone, I could tell a difference in the image quality compared to my camera. But even by the time it's probably posted on the website, all of those differences wouldn't really be apparent because they're noticeable when you're editing it and you're zooming in and you're changing very small details about it. But once the photo is shrunk down to the proper size and then compressed, even if it's just the website, and especially if it's on Facebook or Instagram, I mean, the image quality is it's just not as much of a factor because it's going to get shrunken down no matter what. And so any kind of small details that I might notice when I'm editing it up close are just going to be gone.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I loaded in the photos that I took into Lightroom to do some editing. And I got in there and realized that, yet again, I had no idea what I was doing. So I just decided I would just open up Photoshop. Photoshop is way more complicated than what I actually needed, but I have a little bit more familiarity with it.
You mean Photoshop like on the computer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
As opposed to what?
Well, they have two different Photoshop apps too.
Oh,
That's actually what I thought when you texted me. I thought you were talking about the Photoshop app. They have Photoshop Elements and Photoshop Express, I think.
I have both of those on my phone.
They're good apps.
I've never actually used them.
Yeah, but you mean like the full-blown desktop Photoshop.
Yeah. It was fine. I got done what I needed to.
Good.
Which, like I said, was very little. I don't do much.
I like the idea that you're like editing this on your phone and you're like, ugh, this is too hard. I need to open up Photoshop.
No, I wasn't doing it on my phone. I was doing it on Lightroom on the computer.
Oh, okay.
It probably would have been easier if I were doing it from my phone.
Which also is easier to use overall.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, there were 5 little icons that were like, here are your 5 options for what you can do.
Yeah. No, what you did makes perfect sense because, like, Lightroom is easier to use overall, but if you know Photoshop better like you do, then it doesn't matter what's easier objectively. It matters what's easier for you. So opening up Photoshop is completely reasonable.
Yeah. And, like, this is on our shared Lightroom account in which I have no photos of my own. And suddenly putting my things into your organizing program was nerve-wracking and also kind of underwhelming for me. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to find anything. I don't know where anything is going to go.
That's easy to fix.
I'm sure it is, but I don't know how.
We can just add a tag to all of your photos.
Yes, but I was doing this by myself.
Yeah, I got you.
In the living room.
I got you.
In a dark room.
In a dark room. That's a big factor. Like, I'm not sure how good these photos are going to be because I edited them in the dark.
I mean, historically, most photos have been edited in a dark room.
No, it's a dark room, not a dark room.
I know that.
It's one word.
It was a joke about a dark room.
You can't say it with a pause in the middle. You have to say dark room, not in a dark room.
I want to make sure that we're getting all those.
Yeah, I've told Shelby before that sometimes all of her little noises, I'm not sure what you'd call them.
Of which I make many.
Expressions, noises, things like that, that sometimes they're not picked up by the microphones. and that she needs to like get closer or like alter them in some way so that her annoyance with me can be fully and accurately expressed in the podcast. So I think her going I think that's part of her adapting to the podcast medium.
Yeah. I wish that our microphones could pick up my eye rolls.
An eye roll microphone is actually called a camera. That's what those are called. We've thought about doing a video podcast. If you think you would like that, then let us know.
No, don't.
Yeah, we could do a video podcast.
Don't tell us that.
We have plenty of cameras. We have phones. We have all this kind of stuff. Actually, you mentioned before you don't know why we still have that old point and shoot. It actually takes pretty decent video, so I've kind of kept it around just in case we ever wanted to use it as like a B-roll camera. Anyways, where were we? We're really, really deep in the stack.
Well, I was actually just thinking, I wonder if an eye roll made a sound, what the sound would be.
I almost think like a creaky sound.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be like a huff, like,
No, see,
that's like the vocal equivalent of an eye roll.
Yes, but I'm thinking of an audible equivalent of the visualization of an eye roll that isn't necessarily the expression of the eye roll. So like I would think of
like if you were adding a sound effect to someone's eye roll, like a Foley artist.
Well, no, because I don't want it to sound like juicy eye movement.
Yeah, like you squeezing an orange.
Oh, stop. Hey, quit. But I kind of think of like a spiral sound, but like low.
That doesn't make any sense to me, but that's okay because the whole thing doesn't make sense. So it makes sense for your answer to not make sense. Okay, now let's walk ourselves back to where we were before.
Well, see, now I was going to talk about Foley art because that's a thing that I feel like I could do. I think I would enjoy that.
Okay. So you want to talk about Foley artistry?
I guess that's all I had to say. Is that I think I would like it.
You think you'd be good at it, that you would like it. Well, no, you couldn't be good at it because you wouldn't be as good as Dave Foley on the first day, and so you would never try it.
Yeah.
Because apparently if you don't do something perfectly on the first day, then what's the point?
There is no point. That's why I've chosen podcasting.
Yeah. Podcasting, it's... People will listen to this crap no matter what. Podcasts don't even need to be good. Thank you, dear listeners.
We value each and every one of you.
Shelby thinks that everyone is so bored that you'll listen to her. That's how bored you are.
No, I just think that nobody actually does listen. But
Okay, so let's get back on track.
Sure.
We're talking about photo editing. So you took a selection of photos for the summertime theme.
Mm-hmm.
So you edited a couple of them?
I did. I pretty easily chose one to submit, even though I liked the other one a lot, but it didn't quite turn out exactly the way I wanted.
A lot of times one will just stand out above the others and kind of be the obvious choice.
I have another one that I liked a lot. I haven't edited it because I don't think I'm going to use it or submit it. So I may still end up editing it just because, but I'm not sure what I'll do yet with it.
Cool. So we'll have links to both of those in the show notes, and you can view them there. Now, Shelby and I have talked about the podcast quite a bit, and neither of us are completely happy with like the current design of it, or I don't know. I feel like there's improvements we can make, which is fine because that's the point of the podcast is, or not the point, but like we like to get better at things. So it's reasonable to change things up. One of the things I've been wanting is to continue kind of talking about our week, but also talk about some more evergreen topics or like just our thoughts about some other kind of topic. I thought this week, for instance, this will be released on Monday, July 1st. So I thought we could talk about Independence Day and or any other kind of like family traditions we have around that. For instance, my family doesn't really have any kind of big 4th of July traditions, which I think is somewhat atypical. I feel like most people that I know have something that they do. Like they always go to this one friend's house, or they always, buy a huge box of fireworks and like set them off over the course of the whole night, or they always have these certain neighbors over to cook or things like that. My family just, I don't know, maybe just because we've moved around too much in my life, never really had strong traditions like that. I mean, we have it for other holidays. Like there are particular things we always do at Thanksgiving or always do at Christmas. But 4th of July just has never been a big deal to my family. I will say that we do usually have watermelon. That's like an extremely minor tradition, but we almost always have watermelon sometime during the day. I know one year we kind of had a very casual watermelon spitting seed contest.
What?
I think the only criteria was how far you could spit the seed.
Huh.
I think if we were doing it again, I would add a category for maybe the gravitas in which you can spit the seed.
And
we would need to
what
have,
does that look like?
We need to have impartial judges. My family takes things very seriously, so we need to really update that. But
are you talking like trick shots?
Yeah, trick shots and or accuracy, and also like a best of like a People's Choice award for like who did you feel like really spit the watermelon, like who did it good. So if we were updating that tradition, I would add all those categories. But the only thing I can think of that we've done in the past is just to have a raw distance contest. I think we were also spitting them like in a part of the grass where we wouldn't be upset if some actual watermelons grew. I don't remember if any watermelons did grow there. I think they probably didn't. But I do know that we were kind of spitting them in a spot. If watermelons started to grow, no one would be upset about it.
That's funny. And totally not something I would think about at all.
I do think it's possible for watermelons to start growing that way.
Yeah.
So I think you do need to be like somewhat mindful of that. It's not likely necessarily, but
I agree. I'm just saying I wouldn't have thought of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's smart that y'all did.
Yeah.
My family never had any hard and fast traditions. Most years, I'll say, we went to my friend Hannah's house with like a lot of other folks, and we'd have fireworks. I think the most memorable one was one year when it was raining really hard. All of spring and like the first half of summer is just constantly rainy. It's very wet and very rainy, and one 4th of July, it was raining really, really hard all night, which is like kind of a bummer for fireworks. But I guess we did them anyways. It was also kind of windy, but we were out in the driveway and there was some sort of firework. They're all the same to me. I don't know anything. This was going to be one of our last fireworks, so it was kind of a big one. So we set it on the ground and lit it, and it started sparking and everything like it's supposed to. And then there was a little gust of wind, and the firework fell over on its side, started viciously spinning in a circle, throwing sparks and fumes and smoke and
death.
flames
Death.
and death. all around the people we were all just ignorantly standing around it. And everyone's instinct was just to like take their umbrella from above them, protecting them from the rain, and stick it in front of them, somehow protecting them from the fireworks.
Like a shield, yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, this is an example of bad storytelling because I don't remember how it ends.
Oh, good. That's a good story to tell, honey. Here's this really interesting story about East Texas Hicks and their lack of fireworks safety, and no good ending.
I think Hannah's dad went over and stomped it out or something. I know that nobody was harmed.
Okay, now just to be clear, was this one of the fireworks where, like, it was supposed to leave the ground and go up?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't like
Yes.
a sparkler or like a Roman candle.
No.
Okay.
It was supposed to go from the ground up into the sky.
Right, but the wind pushed it over.
But the wind pushed it over.
You had an oopsie, a firework oopsie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess what could have happened is it could have shot off at somebody.
Right. That would, well, no, they would, everyone would be fine because they were protected by their umbrellas. When I was in high school, I went to Bible study after 4th of July, and one of the girls like had this like horrific burn from like her thigh going all the way down like past her knee, and she was wearing shorts so you could see it. I mean, it was awful. And I kind of gave her some lip. I was like, why were you being like I assume, you know, you were being not careful with fireworks. And she was like, actually, thankfully we were friends, so it wasn't a huge deal. But she was like, actually, I was just minding my own business, like in my backyard while my dad was grilling hot dogs. And our neighbors were being idiots, and they had a similar situation happen. Their neighbors were being idiots, and one of their fireworks went sideways and then went through the fence and then hit her leg. And so then I apologized to her because I had blamed her before I knew the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of referencing last week's, there's always blame to go around, and maybe you're seeing a pattern with Nate.
Maybe so. Who knows? Well, a similar thing like that happened to one of my friends, except the exact opposite. He was the idiot.
Oh, he was the idiot.
He was the idiot. He and his brothers and his friends were all shooting Roman candles at each other, and they lived out in the country, and one of the Roman candles shot right past the brother into the neighbor's field, which scaled many, many, many acres of their livelihood. And the whole thing...
He burned down their whole property?
He didn't burn down any buildings, but he burned down like all of their hay and all
Holy
of their
crap.
farming.
Wow.
It was not great.
Did they like sue them?
No, actually.
Can you get insurance for things like that? I'm sure you can.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was about to say that they probably didn't do that again, but
They probably
they
did.
probably did. They probably did.
People who are thoughtless enough to do things like that once are almost always the same people who don't learn from their mistakes. That's a broad generalization, but
Definitely.
I don't know. The people that I know that do dumb stuff have been doing dumb stuff for a long time. Well, that's a sad story.
We all thought it was very funny.
Oh, good.
But we
you
also
thought that burning down someone else's livelihood was what a good goof.
Yes, we were in middle school and high school, so...
Yeah, so you couldn't be responsible for your actions or
Precisely.
for your sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Any other 4th of July stories?
Luckily, I've never had a dog that's been afraid of fireworks. So, that's a thing that a lot of people have to deal with, but Princess does not seem to be bothered by anything, ever. So...
Yeah, she is very tough. Well, I can't think of a better way to close the show than with an extra bonus topic that Shelby has just been dying to talk about.
Okay.
Shelby, tell us about your favorite bathroom product.
This week's episode of Highlights is brought to you by Squatty Potty. I love...
Well, not a paid sponsorship.
Not a paid sponsorship.
There's no financial gain, only bathroom loss.
We've had a Squatty Potty for, I guess, about 2 years, maybe. And for those of you who don't know, a Squatty Potty is like a little white footstool thing that...
It's glorified molded plastic.
Yes. And
it's not... It sounds like it would actually be a whole other toilet. It's a toilet accessory.
Yeah. Yes, a toilet accessory. It's just a little white stool that you put your feet up on.
Stool.
Stool. I know. I'm personally
if your
very
stool's
upset.
white, you should get that checked out. I'm just saying.
I'm very upset that they didn't name their product something stool based. Anyways, I'm trying really hard to get through the description of this product with minimal interruption. It is a footstool. You put your feet up on it when you are sitting at the toilet. You put your feet up on it in a manner that leaves you almost in a squatting position.
So it just elevates. It raises up your feet and also like raises up your knees with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to describe, but it makes sense.
Yeah. And this gets your body in a more natural position for bowel movements. This helps you poop the way God intended.
Honestly, though, it is more like you are squatting, which I suppose is better for your stuff down there. I don't even know what organs are involved in that. Whatever organs are involved in bathrooming, it's better for them. They're happier.
Yes. Things.
Once again, this is like Shelby. I just say, well, what are some things we could talk about? She was like, oh my gosh, we've got to talk about this. Like, this was unprompted.
That is not how I said it. I said that...
She was saying earlier that she thinks no one listens to this podcast. Let me tell you, you are a fortune teller.
Nobody listens anymore.
Nobody listens now.
For anybody still listening for some reason, whenever we poop in what you might consider to be a standard position, it tends to pinch things off in the body. And moving into more of a squatting position opens things up a little bit more. This allows for a easier movement.
An easier time.
An easy...
Good times in the bathroom.
TM. Yes.
What Shelby's saying is trademark. We're trademarking that phrase now. Good times bathroom.
Good times. Good times in the bathroom. That could be a new podcast idea.
A podcast called Good Times in the Bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be easier to find. Like, we have this problem where if you search for highlights in your podcast player, almost certainly it won't come up because there's so many other more popular podcasts that have the word highlights in them that it won't show up. So I don't think that Good Times in the Bathroom would have that problem. I bet there'd be exactly one podcast that would show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, you are selling this to me right now.
And okay, what would this podcast be about?
It would be about healthy bathroom activities. I don't know. It'd be about healthy bowel movements, healthy urinal movements, maybe like shower things. I don't know.
I just don't know how you would talk about that week after week. I mean, we've been talking about it for 15 minutes and I hate it.
So maybe we won't do Good Times in the Bathroom. Anyways, the main thing that I want to say...
trademark.
The main thing I want to say about the Squatty Potty is that I love it. And I keep spending a lot of time at my client's house staying overnight.
You keep spending a lot of time with the Squatty Potty, I would say.
And
you spend time away from your Squatty Potty.
I spend time away from my Squatty Potty.
You miss it.
And I miss it.
You think of it often.
I am considering buying another Squatty Potty.
A travel Squatty Potty?
A travel Squatty Potty, because I'm tired of being in all these places and not having one. And especially, like, I really want to buy one for the office, for Mom's office. And she is a big proponent of
good times in the bathroom.
If that were to be a podcast, she would definitely be my co-host, for sure.
It wouldn't be me, I'll tell you that.
Mom is a big proponent of colon health, and the toilet...
Maybe it'd be you and, like, a little hand puppet that's a colon.
You are killing me. I cannot get through one sentence. The puppet is a terrible idea.
The colon puppet? No, that's good.
That's awful.
Maybe you should have a broader show that, like, each show is a different organ puppet. Like, this is the kidney puppet. This is the liver puppet.
Why would I want to talk about the liver?
This is the skin puppet. That's an organ.
That's a nasty puppet. I don't want to see that puppet.
Yeah, like, well, that one would be about how important it is to use sunscreen. And, yeah. These could be, like, kid shows you could do on YouTube.
Good times in the bathroom.
Well, no, you'd have to make it. You'd have to make it have a little bit more broad appeal.
Well, like I was saying, the toilet at Mom's office is particularly high. It is a particularly high standing toilet. And as I said, Mom is a big proponent of colon health. And I think that our office and our patients would greatly benefit from a Squatty Potty. And so I think I want to get one for the office, both for my use and for the use of our patients. And I also want to get a travel one, because I keep going to all these houses and nobody has one. One of my clients has a Squatty Potty in their home. And
do you give them a discount? Just like, this is the Good Times bathroom discount.
No.
In fairness, I think these are only maybe $15 or $20. And so they're fairly affordable. At least as far as bathroom accessories.
You have also been happy with the Squatty Potty. Like, we together made the decision to get this. So I don't know why you are pretending like I'm full of crap, if you will, because you also appreciate this toilet accessory.
I mean, it's good. I wouldn't necessarily choose to brag about it on a podcast.
If we start a bathroom podcast, that means...
Which we're not.
That means that we could get a bidet and write it off as a work expense.
I suppose, yeah.
I want a bidet so bad.
You gotta save that. You gotta save all this good content. All this good bathroom time content.
I mean, at this point, I'm hoping all this just gets cut out, because this bit is awful.
No. But all good bits need to come to an end. And all bad bits need to come to an end.
But... You said but.
Okay, but. Yeah, anyways. We will put a link to the Squatty Potty if you would like to buy one. It is, like, scientifical. So it's not just, like, it is a thing.
Yes, it is.
So, I don't know a better place to end the show.
You can unsubscribe through the podcast player of your choice, probably the same way that you subscribed. I anticipate losing a lot of listeners with this episode.
You can also just throw your phone in a river.
Yeah.
That's actually the fastest way to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Is to get rid of your device that you're listening to it on.
See you next time.